Dr. Eric, let's go back to the beginning. You mentioned when you were brought back to Calgary here on a contract, from my understanding, during COVID, that was basically stopped. Tell us why. That's the beginning.
Yeah. So ultimately, you get recruited back, sort of 3-year recruitment, and that's sort of your trial period. If things go sideways, they reserve the right to let you go. But the reality is, on a year-to-year basis, they're renewing your contract. So the official language is, they chose not to renew the contract, despite the fact a few months later, evaluation across all areas was just, fine, of course. So the reason specifically, that was dropped was because I was at that time non-compliant with their illegal COVID-19 immunization bylaw that they initiated after I had joined and signed.
Okay.
They were going to take immediate action against those physicians who had not complied middle of October 2021. But that got delayed until about mid-December. And so on January 6th, after I had been locked out of the children's, they sent a letter saying, we're not going to renew your contract. Now, that bylaw was in place for 6 weeks, so by the end of it, we were allowed back with testing 6 weeks later. And so, of course, I sent them a letter saying, no, it's kind of a moot point right now, guys.
Yeah.
But they said, we're going to stick to it at that point. And so I think at that point, it becomes pretty clear that the ongoing speaking out on behalf of the kids with regard to this issue became the main reason not to let me back onto that, lucrative contract, which included, protected time for research.
Yeah.
As I was allowed back in, fee for service, and then gradually had my epilepsy time kind of taken away and then, sort of pushed out. And, so that's ultimately the case. I mean, if I had, I think, repented right at the beginning, sorry, I wrote this letter, forgive me, I'll take the shot, this would have all gone away. I think, possibly even if I just had stopped talking about the issue with kids. But the problem was that, the letter I wrote in the fall of 2021, which was, not just to draw attention to the issue with respect to kids and, was I actually putting my patients at risk? It was because the college itself in Alberta was contemplating making it part of my license. So I wouldn't be able to have an Alberta license, period. So I've been more working as a neurologist in the community now for about a year.
Okay.
Because so I'm not using my neurocritical care skills. I'm not using my epilepsy surgery evaluation skills. So, that part of it is, you can still hopefully coexist outside of it.
You had all your chips in the middle, like you had it all in, because you're risking your license, also your primary income, everything.
It's it was an extremely stressful time. You get very emotional when you get some of the, especially the trucker stuff, right?
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy. But